Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Signs and meanings. What? Huh? I know. Awesome topic. Love this topic, by the way. Got an email from someone. I'm not going to read the whole email just because, one, I didn't ask him for permission, but two, it's just the one part that really got me going, and I actually responded to this, and I basically said the same thing that I'm going to do in this whole show, but I've been watching a few videos about signs, and I am still a bit confused. It is my understanding that signs are not an indication or a predictor of the relationship manifesting, but rather indicative of that which I've been focusing. Is this the correct way to think about signs? So the question is, are signs an indication about something? Yes. Simple. The other thing that a lot of us do is we give signs meaning. That's a little different. So I'm going to walk through an example that just happened to me today, so it kind of worked out perfectly on top of someone sharing an email, and then kind of use it to illustrate what I think is the important thing to keep in mind about signs and what they mean, what they indicate, why they happen, and what they're all about. Signs are good stuff. Love signs. One of my favorite things to talk about. And I think it's something that's a little confusing and probably somewhat my fault, frankly. I've done some shows on signs, and there's a lot of aspects to it, but let's talk about them. So, first and foremost, let me kind of explain how the general manifestation process works, right? We think about things, we imagine things, we use our senses, right? We try to make it as real as possible. Neville Goddard teaches us this in very good ways. So we imagine it, we imagine from, we do vision boards. There's a whole slew of ways we can do this. And so when we put this effort forward, when we start putting our manifestation feet forward, if you will start to see things pop up in our life that oddly seem coincidental, seem to have things that tie in with the thing that we're trying to manifest. Maybe they are someone's specific birthday, maybe they're a specific color, maybe it's a thing that you both enjoy that no one else knows about. You'll start to have things happen in life that are indications or symbols even of representing this thing that you're trying to manifest. So as we focus on creating something, focus-based universe, talk about it frequently, as we focus on the thing we're trying to create, indicators show up along the way to say, hey, this is what you're creating right now. Is that cool? Now let me back step a hair here. Let's say, for example, I'm getting indications that something bad's happened. Maybe a second, a third party starting to come into play, and we're like, whoa, what's going on with this? Right? There could be one of those scenarios where we're getting indications that something bad's happening. That implies that the thought process that you've been on, the thing that you've been focused on lately, is of the nature of what I'm getting indications of. Right? So maybe if it is more third-party situations popping up, for an example, just the timing you happen to show up on the page right when they post something, or maybe they're talking about it and you overhear it, or whatever. Maybe they send you a text message about them and a friend are doing something, but that friend happens to be someone that you've heard about, right? Like, there's a lot of weird ways that little things can happen. So for a lot of us, we would look at that and get worried. Well, and for good reason, right? It means that you're kind of putting energy towards that your focus lately has been on a third-party scenario. Maybe you're afraid, maybe you're scared, maybe you're self-love obviously is where a lot of us would point to, but maybe you're insecure right now about whatever. Maybe they said something that caused you to be insecure. Again, it's still your choice to be insecure, not theirs to force you, but not getting off track. So it means that we're focusing in a direction we don't want to. We need to change our focus. That's what those signs mean, if you will, or that's what they indicate. So if you're getting bad signs, change what you've been doing lately. That's why you're getting those signs. Change what you're doing, and you'll start to notice different signs. And when you do that, then you know, oh, okay, this is a direction I want to go. Now, if you love the signs you're seeing, if you love what you're experiencing, if you love what's being shown to you, then keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. Life is good. Beautiful stuff is in front of you. Now, does the sign mean anything? It depends, but generally speaking, no. When we spend a lot of time thinking about certain something that we'd like to experience, a certain outcome that we'd like to have. Naturally, indicators of that outcome will start to happen. So, in most of those cases, those indicators aren't necessarily meaning anything as much as they're indicating the direction you're heading. Now, I know a lot of people kind of get off track sometimes and try really hard to create signs for something. So, show me a butterfly if so-and-so likes me. What we're starting to get into in that realm is creating an event to try to show you some other event. Very weird, very he said, she said, very out there third party, very not really recommended, not really what signs are supposed to be about. Now you're manifesting a sign when you're like, show me X to tell me Y. Now you're manifesting signs, not really what they're supposed to be. If I'm trying to create X, then I focus on X. And when I focus on X and I imagine X and I give X its total reality in my mind, I can touch, I can taste it, I can smell it, I can, all that stuff. When I do that, and then I see why, now something interesting is happening. Now something is indicating the direction I'm going. Now, those indications can be very personal towards the person, maybe a specific person, right? Maybe their initials, maybe their birthday. It doesn't mean they're thinking about it, doesn't mean they're in love with you, it means you're heading in the direction of this thing you're creating. And this person that you're trying to create this reality with, well, that's the indication you're getting. So, hey, guess what? You're on track to that person. Does it mean they love you? Does it mean no, it doesn't mean anything. It's showing you you're on the right track. Now, an example where something could mean something maybe, kind of happened to me today, and that's where it's funny. I mean, I've had some of the other experiences where their initials pop up or you see things in a driver's license, right? The letters in there, or maybe a birthday or a date or whatever. Some number shows up that means something. I get it. Those things happen. But if I'm focusing on creating something and then things pop up that remind me of that something, well, those are just signs of the thing I'm trying to create. They don't mean anything. In the case of what I was doing, I was thinking about my channel. I was like wondering about some stuff, kind of been wondering about the direction I want to go, and I've got the second channel I spun up recently, and I don't know, just been thinking about it a lot, right? A lot of things going on in my mind, and like, what's some of the best ways I can use my abilities and maybe capitalize on them a little more, but still doing something that I love doing and not necessarily try to sell out per se, right? Because there's messages. I could just do certain messages and do a lot of videos on them. Or there's even another gentleman that does great videos, but his thumbnails are just so clickbait, and it really bothers me. It's like there's certain things I'm just not willing to do. I mean, I've got a job I love. I make great money. I really don't need the money that I get from this, right? But it would be fun to make more money doing this, right? It'd just be fun doing it. So I was thinking about my channel, and I was on my page, and the number of views happened to be a combination of numbers. And I always kind of key in on repetition. When I see repeating numbers, it was 2727 at the time, right? And it's like, that's interesting. So I looked up what 2727 was, at least on my numerology thing, because when it was happening, I'm like, well, I'm wondering about my channel, and then boom, here's this interesting little symbol. In that case, for me, numbers have meaning. I hadn't ascribed any meaning. 2727 doesn't mean anything as far as my channel's concerned. It wasn't like the date I started doing anything, right? Like there's no outwardly known meaning other than it was repetition to me. So there's a site I go to frequently on numerology that shows kind of what repetitions of numbers mean, but it also does specific numbers up to, 3,000 something. So I was like, well, this happens to even be within that. So I look it up. Normally, I don't even do that. Normally, I just would have gone to the repetition. And the message it shared with me was really appropriate for the journey I'm on, the questions I was asking. It had to do with me understanding processes more, with not trying so hard to put labels on what I'm doing. It was like, wow, that's like exactly what's going on. Like, all right, just enjoy what you're doing right now, Dan. Don't worry about it so much. It's cool. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep focusing how you're focusing, and you're heading in the direction you'd like to go. Not, are we there yet? Have I gotten the text yet? Have they called me yet? Am I at 1 million subscribers yet? No, it's not that. It's not an issue of the destination and saying, hey, you're there. It's an issue of what direction are you going? Hey, you're on your way. It didn't mean anything as much as I was able to transcribe the numbers into a meaning that kind of made sense. And then my own intuition, if you will, kind of kicked in a little and sort of said, oh, okay, so that's kind of this, and this. So here I am relying on self and my own internal guidance. I'm taking the symbol from the universe and letting it sort of let me know the direction I'm going. And at the same time, if you're trying to manifest a specific thing and things happen in line with that, well, those are great indications you're on your way to exactly what you're trying to create. Does it mean anything? Does it not mean anything? Let's try to get away from that concept. That's not really the point of the sign. The point of the sign is to show you you're on your way. Confirmation. Guess where you're heading. There you go. Hopefully, this makes a difference. If you appreciate what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel. Please share my videos. And you can like them, comment, throw some future show ideas. That's always useful. Stay on RadioStyle. Thanks, everyone. Be doing another video coming up tomorrow. Thanks.